Hi there. In this video we'll be covering how to write a manuscript for a book. Every book at some point is a manuscript. So this is really all about setting the right course for the journey forward. By the end of this video you will learn how to pick a topic, build your book's foundation, and find the writing process that works for you. And stay tuned until the end of the video for a free resource I really think you're going to enjoy. Let's dive in. A manuscript, by definition, is a draft that you then submit to a publisher, a draft that you move forward in the publishing process. So every draft at some point becomes a manuscript. You know, it's an awesome opportunity when you get to that stage, when you have a manuscript. But that doesn't mean that it's all finished and it's perfect. That just means you have a manuscript. So it could require some work at that point. But getting there is huge. You know, getting there means you face the biggest obstacles. The first step in getting to a full manuscript is figuring out your topic. What are you writing about? What is this book about? It's important to figure out that course early on at the early stages because you don't want to do a ton of writing then find out that, you know what, I'm going to go in a different direction. Sometimes it does happen, but you want to do as much as you can the early going to try to figure out all the power of your book, the message of your book, unlock all the pieces, and move forward in clarity. It's going to save you tons of time in the end. I'm a big fan of foundation work. And when I think about foundation, I think about your hook, which is the elevator pitch. What's the reader takeaway? What are they going to learn from it? Who is this book for? Audience is another important thing in foundation work. If you don't know who your book is for, you're never going to unlock that power of audience. You're never going to be able to connect your message with the right audience. You want to understand who your book is for because then you can write to them. You know, if you write for the wrong audience, you could lose your audience, your core audience. So it's important to understand who your book is for, the message that you're trying to share, how it can help people, how it can help guide them forward. Ultimately, another element in book foundation work is outlining. Outlining's huge. When you take a drive, you take a long road trip, how do you figure out how to get where you're going? You have a destination in mind, but you ultimately need directions. You need a roadmap. You know, a lot of times we can use the apps on our phone to figure out where we're going. And it's great because those can tell us if there's road work ahead, if there's construction, if there's a detour, if a road's closed. You know, if you're going on bad directions, you could get lost. You could wind up in the wrong place, or you could get stuck in delays and slowdowns that you could have avoided otherwise. So having that outline in place, figuring out what the structure looks like of the book, is going to help you figure out what is inside and outside the frame of the book, so you can write the things that are going to be included, and then you can have this North Star, this direction forward, and really understand where you're going. Another important thing is figuring out a writing process that works for you. So many times an author will start working on a book and lose sight of it, lose momentum, have to put it aside. Maybe they're too busy. Maybe they can't find the time. Find a writing cadence that works for you. Find a goal that you can set every day or every week. You know, you think about a 100,000 word book as this insurmountable goal. And that's a big book. You probably don't want to write a book that long. I've done it. It's not easy. But at the same time, you think of 100,000 words as this insurmountable thing, but if you write 273 words every single day, you'll get to 100,000 words by the end of the year. So it's possible within 1 year's time to write a 100,000 word book if you write 273 purposeful words every single day. It's a random number, but that's how the math works out. And it's so powerful to be able to figure out what your patterns are. Sometimes as a ghostwriter, I will work with authors to help guide their book forward. And these are busy CEOs, these are busy thought leaders, these are people who have very little time in their day. And it's really powerful when we can carve out that little window of an hour a week to be able to make progress with the book. You know, but ultimately, if there's no time in your day to work on the book, you're not going to make progress. So you really have to be true to yourself. You have to understand what your blocks are, and then figure out what the best way to approach the writing is for you. You know, maybe it's sitting down at the computer and typing away. You know, maybe it's sitting at a coffee shop with a notepad and a pen and writing, you know, writing by hand. You know, other times it could be voice-to-text transcription where you're talking into a device or a computer or your phone, and then using that audio, that text, to shape it into chapters. I typically work that way with an audio voice-to-text transcription for the clients I work with, and it's great to be able to make quick and simple progress with them every single week. But your process is going to be unique to you, and it's important to really figure out what your best mode is for writing. The last tip, stick with it. You can do this. This is possible. I know it seems insurmountable. I know it seems difficult. The fact that you're watching this video shows momentum and purpose. You really care about doing this and doing it right. Stick with it. Don't give up. I know it's simple to say don't give up, but really, don't give up. There's so much opportunity that rests on the opposite side of your book, and it's so powerful to be able to carry that message forward into the world and really reach for that next step in your life and career. What is the gap that you're trying to fill? Ultimately, a book could help you get there, taking the next step as a business leader, thought leader, speaker, anything. And just having that legacy piece, being able to share this with your family. There's so many reasons why people want to write a book. But stick with it. Stick with it. It is so worth it. And if you're struggling, if you're really struggling with this book, there's one thing I want you to do. It's go to goodghostwriter.com. You can click the link below and book a one-on-one strategy call with me. I'd love to talk further about your book, your goals, your opportunities, what you're trying to accomplish, and maybe I can give you some tips to help make the process easier. Remember, a good book can change your life. I'm Dan Good. Thanks for watching.